we've got Jonathan Hoenig with us and Rebecca Walser on this story. Rebecca, I ended with you, but I want to begin with you on something the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, was raising about TikTok and its ties to China and maybe taking orders from China, and that is the source of all of this friction. This is from the Secretary of State.
Chinese software companies doing business in the United States, whether it's TikTok or WeChat, their national security apparatus, could be their facial recognition pattern. It could be information about their residents, their phone numbers, their friends, who they're connected to. Those are the issues that President Trump has made clear we're going to take care of. These are true national security issues.
True national security issues, but not enough, at least from what we can tell, Rebecca, for the president to refuse or slap down Microsoft's interest in the company, because obviously it's still being generated today. What do you make of it all?
I think that, obviously, Neil, the president knows that there's a lot of users that love TikTok in the United States of America, and that's not going to be a very popular move. But just like Secretary Pompeo was saying, when you get data aggregation of individuals' addresses, faces, location tracking, all these things that like Facebook does that we take for granted now as, you opt out, or the privacy policies and all the things that changed last year with Facebook and the analytical scandal, those things could be happening with TikTok, except for not going for marketing purposes to advertisers, but actually to the communist Chinese parties. And that's the issue. And there's the U.S. security problem. And so he wants to stop that, but yet preserve an app that a lot of America loves. And so how can you do that? Bring in a U.S. partner, segregate the business from the Chinese ownership, and really, Chinese data transfer, I should say. And if that can be guaranteed, then we can maybe save the app.
Yeah, but, a guarantee, Jonathan, sounds like one of my diet pledges. I guarantee I'm going to, eat nothing but vegetables and forego, all the, Italian sausage grinders. Good luck with that. So how would we be able to secure something like that?
There is no way to secure it, Neil. I mean, and it's important to emphasize the fact that TikTok is a private company. In fact, it's got something like 1,000 American employees. And in fact, its servers are located here in America. And while there's a lot of speculation that there could be sharing of info, there actually is scant evidence that there is sharing in info. And I tell you, if TikTok was violating its users' rights, Neil, why wouldn't Apple allow it on its platform? They've banned a lot of other apps that have done that. Why wouldn't the Justice Department, for example, file a lawsuit, or Apple file a lawsuit for that matter? This seems like, as much as there's this anti-China rhetoric and feeling in the country, this just seems like a bit of a political ploy for the president. Charlie Gasparino alluded to that. It's being kind of amped up by hardliners within the Trump administration because of all this antagonism about what TikTok might do. All it's done so far is make a lot of Americans very happy, which is why they continue to use it every day.
You know what I don't understand about this, guys, and Rebecca, I'll kick this off with you, this notion that Microsoft stock would be up on this, because if it were to succeed in getting TikTok, it would not come cheap. I mean, we're talking tens of billions of dollars. I heard one figure, I don't know how accurate that is, upwards of $100 billion. And yet the stock is up, believing that it instantly becomes a social media player. I get that, but I don't get the fact that the stock is up that much on the promise of that. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, to Jonathan's point and to your point, Neil, I understand that TikTok maybe hasn't done anything necessarily that's provable yet, but I think it's the fact of having a Chinese app that basically, if you understand the laws of the Chinese Communist Party and you understand private ownership, there's a lot of backdoors that relay information to the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. So Microsoft being up today, Neil, is the U.S. Eager investor hoping that this deal actually works, because it is a very popular app. It is definitely, as Charlie referenced in his piece, it used to be sort of tweens and earlier people, but now people of all ages, grandfathers, grandmothers, everyone's going on this app. They love it. It's funny. Even if you're not going to yourself post a dance, you can watch a lot of people, and it is really a comic relief. So, Neil, a lot of people love this. And so Microsoft is going up because people are thinking, if this works out and Microsoft gets this, then it's going to be a boon for their social media presence, which they don't have really. And, obviously, Facebook now now with this Instagram is coming out with a TikTok kind of dance kind of thing that's launching very soon. So they're really hoping that this is something that Microsoft can get and can save this app. And I do think that even though it's not proven, a lot of things like Chinese espionage is very hard to prove in courts. And that's why the government is taking this stance.
Well, I can see what Rebecca's talking about, Jonathan. I mean, my teenage sons who are bored to tears with anything business news related. I'm sorry, I failed as a father. But they say, why is the president even thinking about doing anything? We love this site. Leave it alone. So I'm wondering the draw this has, particularly with young people. What are we to make of that?
Well, Neil, it's something new. And Charlie mentioned this comedian, Sarah Cooper. I have to imagine the president doesn't love so much the fact that she has made a living using that site to lampoon the president. But look, Neil, now it was TikTok. 6 or 7 years ago, it was a website called Vine, which had very similar short form videos. And as Rebecca mentioned, I mean, Microsoft has got to get in this game. They bought LinkedIn that hasn't really exploded their social media presence as they would. So what you're seeing is the market trying to work it out. And all those who've said on Capitol Hill in the last week that Facebook has a monopoly, what you're seeing here is the market trying to topple that monopoly. And whether it's TikTok or the next hot thing that your young sons would love, there'll always be an innovator. In this case, it just happens to be a Chinese innovator that's usurping the established pros like Twitter and Facebook.
Maybe this is Microsoft's way of reclaiming being cool. We'll see. But guys, thank you both very, very much. You're far more hip than I'll ever be, both of you. So thank you for helping me out in this segment here. Microsoft